working in an environment where there is sort of huge amount of growth and dynamic activity, what's been the experience and how you're trying to, from a payroll perspective, enable the growth that the organization is going through?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think it goes to any company that goes through growth or even hyper growth. And how do you keep up with the business, right? So I joined in July last year, but with any company, you need to make sure that when you're expanding internationally, you shouldn't be the last one to hear. And that's typically what does happen with payroll. So you should be able to maneuver yourself diplomatically through the ranks, even yourself or through voices of others, to make sure, hey, somewhere on a checklist there is a payroll tag, whether it's during M&A or there's international expansion, there's a payroll tag. And I think what you should do as payroll is make sure that your processes are standardized up to and above 90%, because for payroll, yes, every country is unique, but the payroll process and the sequence itself is the same. Mm-hmm. So we should be in a position to replicate our practices for up to 90% or 80%, whatever is your dynamic, but to standardize it and to be able to roll it out very quickly in a new jurisdiction. With that, you need to have strong partners, payroll partners. Sometimes you need a little bit of more, like an accountancy firm who can set up entities and that type of stuff to make sure you can quickly set it up. So you should have a rollout plan with the vendor saying, we go into a new country. Okay, this is what we always do. We have our internal processes, your HCMs are set up, and there is kind of a team to support that international expansion. Because the last thing you want is that the CEO hears you want to go into a new country. We cannot do it because we cannot pay people. Right. And whether it's through a professional employment company, a PO, an EOR, or whether it's an own entity or a branch or a non-resident payroll, whatever vehicle you use, make sure you enable that international expansion. And I think what's then crucial, and what not always goes right, we have to admit, but is that employee experience, that onboarding experience, whether you use a PEO, an EOR, or whatever you use, it has to be right. They have to feel part of the family, and they have to get that experience the same way as people get into established countries. And then you should be able to enable international expansion and hypergrowth. Now, the other urge is that sometimes it's, what is the English term, penny wise, pound foolish?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so.
There is a certain limit that payroll professionals can coordinate on. Like I've seen people who say you can do only 5 countries. Some people say you can do 15 countries. It depends on your model. It depends on the volumes and the technology you have, the processes, of course, you have. But just make sure that in your plan towards your senior leaders and whoever does the accounting or FP&A typically holds the budget for any headcount expansion, that you do take into account that when you go over certain thresholds, automatically you get a budget approved to get another payroll specialist, a payroll analyst, or an approver in it, because otherwise your people will be burned out. Right. So make sure that is also built into the plan, not just a vendor, but also someone coordinating that vendor.